2-year trials ring in 2025 with that track. Power play. Yeah, be a cool video to upload 2025 on New Year's 2025. That doesn't mean I have to wait to play it. I would just wait to upload the video. Fusion servers. I don't want to think there's a last year. I mean, honestly, Fusion servers are something that should be so easy to maintain. There's no reason they couldn't keep it up as long as Red Links is an actual thing. Either way, if Trials ever goes down and making a clone, we're gonna see, or even it'd be cool if there would be a way to host an offline, like host a unofficial server and had a mod that the game could connect to that server, and then it would just be you're chilling. More UB, yeah. Because I mean, if not for UB, I mean, I bet there's some games that have when they stopped supporting them, that they gave it over to someone trusted in the community to just run run the server themselves. And I mean, Fusion servers do not take a fucking server room. It could be run off a fucking laptop. It's not like you're running like online multiplayer shooters. Like you could fucking, I mean, it's just a track downloading screen. MP might be a bit of a different story, but yeah, Natio still supports Trackmania, so it's just a matter of there being support for the game, even if it's kind of niche. That's another big thing why it pisses me off so much when people just give up and leave and shit. It's like, the game dies if you don't have a player base. As long as it has a player base, it'll get support. I mean, shit, it'd be cool to see them, fix the Acorns thing. That's free money they're sitting on. I'd literally buy plenty of Acorns. Like, I'd look up how many I actually need to buy everything that I don't have, but like, I would happily spend more money on this game, or even if they had to, have a monthly amount of money for the servers. Like, I'd happily contribute to that. Really, just, I mean, it'd be awesome to see a new Trials game that doesn't suck. But I'd be skeptical. I'd be scared of them making a new game, because unless if they were to really start new. Because if they just build on top of Rising, you can't fix that. Like Rising doesn't even look good. I don't know what they did to it. It's almost like, because they made that promo Blood Dragon game, and it's almost like Rising is built on that, because it looks like a fucking promo game. The game does not even look good. It looks like just something about the graphics look worse. Not true. I would really be hyped for an Evo remaster. If anything, with how good everyone's gotten, an Evo remaster would help the skill gap, because things like climbing are a little bit harder on Evo. I don't need the physics to be dead on like Fusion, I just need the physics to not be shit. The main problem with Rising is just that fucking magnet, but then you also still have the bounciness of the bike, and then the inconsistent physics. Yeah, it literally is an Evo facelift. And it's a little bit more polished just because it's their first like official release since Evo was still just on the 360 arcade. Yeah, front wheel feels bad in Rising because there's no suspension. Because it's built more like how like real Trials riders in real life set their bikes. And there's more like realistic amount of suspension. And especially on when it comes to the front wheel, a lot of real life guys, they have like dead suspension on the front. But I mean, this isn't real life. This is a very extreme motorcycle game. Like, it doesn't have to be so realistic. I think Evo was kind of the most popular one. It has the most appeal. A lot of people like didn't play Fusion just because of the future theme. It's like, really, if they I mean, even the theming of Rising is great. Having a longer career was a good idea, but some of the things like contracts made it way too grindy. I would literally say take the idea of Rising and give it like physics more like Fusion or Evo. Get rid of the fucking magnet. And then maybe slight quality of life, just make bikes available in TC. Don't make me play because on Fusion it's fine when you get the game at first and it takes like 30 minutes to an hour to unlock the Pit Viper. But it's like 7 hours of gameplay on Rising to unlock the Mantis. Drawn out. Yeah, I mean, because it's just like one of those things where they put in a bunch of shit that draws out playtime for everybody instead of it being more like a game that you can complete quickly. But in terms of like getting higher medals and like platinums and diamonds, like that takes a long time because you just have to get good at the game. Like, you don't need to implement all these like contracts and shit. But either way, it's career. It draws out getting the bike, but if you're just playing ninjas, once you have the bike, you're chilling, and then you're right into TC. Better editor, and I mean, it's only a couple minor tweaks to the editor, plus having all the items from every Trials game. But not quite literally every one, because I mean, even whenever I loaded into the Evo editor, there's still items that are in there that aren't in Rising. And a lot of items aren't scalable and stuff like that. But if Trials ever goes fully down, what I would want to do is to build a similar type of game. I would have to check out legalities and stuff like that. I don't know much about game development, so that would give me something, like a real reason to learn it. And there's a lot of people in this community who are really good with coding and have a lot of knowledge on it, on the way Fusion works in particular, to get the physics kind of right. But I would love to make a game that's, simple, like no career or anything. It would just be purely TC based, and then you can even have like dev approved maps. Tracks. I'm thinking about like dev approved maps from Black Ops 6 or something. Fucking like, you have the tab, like how you have like the community recommended and shit on like Fusion TC. You could have a tab that's like dev recommended tracks. Trackmania, I guess so. I've never played Trackmania, so I don't know what it's like. But doesn't Trackmania have like base game shit though? Like, I'm thinking just like, if I were to have that type of game made, before I released it, I would probably build a good handful of tracks and have have other people. I mean, I could just, I mean, you know, I could send out the game to people anyway to test shit out, and then have some builders like pay them for their base game release, or even in that case, you could just make a career at that point if I wanted to have like Todd, Slick, people like that build base game tracks. Honestly, if I ever made a game like that and I actually had a budget at the time, like I would totally, like, depending on if Zach is free, I'm sure, like, if he's not too busy, for the right price, he would at least decorate some tracks. Like, imagine like a 20-track campaign that's all decorated by Zach. Seasonal map packs from devs. Yeah, and that's the way I would want to do it. I wouldn't want to sink, like, the same thing with Red Links. Like, if they didn't want to sink dev time into making a big-ass career, like, really the game is all TC, except for the speedrun heads who are focused on score and leaderboards. Which, even in that case, you can do that in TC still, you know, just not really score-wise, but leaderboard-wise. And you can just keep adding features and shit, since the game is always supported, and you can add, like, you know, instead of just stopping at Extreme or General Ninja, you can actually label tracks like Ninja, you know, 1 through 10. I would just be curious, like, about the legalities, though. Like, of course, you can't just clone Fusion. You'd have to build it from, you still have to build it from scratch, and, like, if you make a copy, like, are you allowed to do that? I mean, I wouldn't even care if you're allowed to sell it. If you're allowed, like, if you're allowed to do it but not allowed to make money off of it, I'm cool with that, too, but I would have to find a way. I mean, surely there's got to be a way. Like, you can't just have a monopoly on this type of game. There's, like, you know, thousands of other shooters that are similar to Call of Duty, but they're not. But they're allowed to sell them, so. I mean, I keep getting video recommendations for a Trials-like game, but they're like the old, like, Trials where they're 2D scrollers. But I keep getting these videos about, like, another game that I don't even know what it's called, where it's like, you know, Trials Ninja type shit. So surely you've got to be allowed to do it, but this is kind of the only game like this with, like, a 3D world. Game's still essentially a 2D game, though. Free asset code. Yeah, in that case, I'd prefer to, you know, have it done from scratch, because I would love to have a game that could actually run at, you know, it's not locked to 60. I'm not sure how that would affect the gameplay, though, and performance. Maybe make a similar type game, but lock it at 120 at least. Like, it doesn't need to be crazy graphics, as long as it looks as good as, like, Fusion or Evo. I'm okay with that. Or probably more like Fusion, because Evo doesn't look as good as Fusion, but it's 10 years later. Surely you can just make a game that looks just as good but run twice the frame rate, and it not be an issue for most people. Yeah, deterministic over time with unlocked frame rate. I just don't know enough about games to know how that would work, really. But that would be really cool to have a Fusion-style game with unlocked frame rate and then just constant dev support. Being indie, wouldn't have to worry about, you know, anything. And if for whatever reason me or whoever else is helping running the servers can't do it anymore, as long as there's a community, we can pass it off to somebody that we trust. especially since it's just, you know, it would just be basically a track loader with leaderboards and shit. I mean, if not for leaderboards, you just need a folder to drop tracks into and play them. But having TC and the way to download and play the track right there is kind of a way to verify a run. And having the leaderboard on that track. Getting the physics right. I mean, don't they use bullet for the physics in this game, is what I've heard. And either way, the physics just have to be good. It doesn't need to, at least for me, when I'm thinking about making a clone, it doesn't need to feel the same, it just needs to feel good. I mean, this is all we know, but there could be something that feels better, even. As long as you can do all the techniques, then you're chilling. Like, this isn't easy, I'm sure it's not. Physics joints, yeah, all that stuff. But I'm sure it could be done. This game, you know, it's not, like, crazy compared to most games. It would be cool to do, but that would be, like, the day Fusion dies, or Trials in general, and unless we get lucky and they continue to support the game or make a new one that's actually viable for high-level play. If Trials ends up dying, then I'm gonna instantly start just doing a lot of research and maybe take classes or something. Even though you don't really need classes for much these days, you can teach yourself just about anything. Only thing I would need to be sure about is legalities. So I could, like, put the game on Steam. I mean, if you're not distributing it, you can just make whatever the fuck you want. But, you know, running the server off of it would be pretty easy. I would probably just have a separate PC. Like, I'd probably just buy a general basic fucking PCs. And then probably have a battery backup because my power goes out here a lot if there's ever a storm, so do shit like that. And have just a live, you know, feed, like, you know, have the Discord for it. And if there's ever, you know, if that ever goes down while I'm not home, I can be like, oh shit, okay, yeah, I'll be back home at this time and I'll bring it back up, type of thing. Or I can let people know, hey, server's gonna be down for this time because I need to, like, I don't know, move my PC or something. Unreal Engine 5, that would be really cool, having a Trials game in Unreal Engine 5. Like, imagine the editor capabilities. That's also the big thing, like, because, I mean, Trials, this type of game is just getting the bike physics right and then building a good editor, which is going to be really hard, and having all these assets, like, that's going to actually take a lot of time, is making all the assets for all the items. But that's also something that could be updated over time. I could just add items. And that's where you'd probably need to hire, like, artists and shit. Or just take a lot of time to work on it yourself. I mean, you need for a game like this to have good content, like, you need an easy-to-use editor that is still good. I mean, the Trials editor is pretty much perfect. Unless if maybe I could do a asset stores, yeah. But it might be cool to do have an editor that's maybe even a bit easier than the Fusion editor to use, and then you also have an advanced editor, like the dev editor, which is a lot, like, more complicated. Like an Evo, yeah. I've never used the light editor, so I don't know what it's like, but having a, you know, an easy and advanced editor would be cool for a game like that. But I'm not gonna really worry about it right now. I've got other shit going on. Like I've got trying to balance, I've got to balance trials and trying to grind that. I've got a full-time job. Looking at dates here and there, and also doing music, basically. I mean, music has been on a break, and I'm about to be doing that full-time again, hopefully. Balancing a lot of shit. Only like 5-6 falls. That last CP felt like it took ages. And I climb this wall, Tom types GG, and then suddenly I pop off. Like, what happened there? GameStart debuff. GameStart debuff is real when it comes to leaning. I can't do this stick position. I have to keep overthinking, like not leaning down instead of left. Where would I get the screenshot from? Just 4 tracks. Probably from 4. Honestly, Devoted 4 is really clean. Some of these concrete pieces. A little bit more embellishment could really crank it up a notch, but it's done really well. You can tell he placed those from the line, looking at it like this. When you get over here, it's like, what the fuck? Devoted X is out of the way. I need to listen to that run again. He played that on the. I don't know how he did that. It was this pick that he used on this album, and it's super thick with not a very sharp tip. I don't know how he did that run that fast. But I don't know. I've been using it recently, but it's Petrucci. He can use whatever fucking pick he wants.